Well, good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha show. I'm Jeff Beals, your host, and this is the only show in the metro area dedicated to business expansion, real estate, construction, economic development, and really anything related to Omaha becoming more prosperous and vibrant. We're brought to you today by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a man who is a legendary real estate deal maker, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, everyone.
Well, good morning to you too, sir. And I've got good news for everyone. 2 weeks in a row, we have a Grow Omaha Eats restaurant review starring Sarah Baker Hansen. Sarah is the foremost and most respected food critic in the Omaha area. And this week she reviews TO5 Bollywood Grill. TO5 Bollywood Grill. The name Bollywood would probably imply that it's an Indian restaurant, and that implication would be true. It is an Indian restaurant. Sarah writes in the article that it's very good, and she says that it particularly seems to thrive with takeout. She said one of her visits was a sit-down visit, and there were only a couple people in there, but she said there was a steady flow of takeout, so she concluded that it's kind of a takeout-centric place. But good Indian food is located at 7515 Pacific Street. When you and I were kids, that was a Godfather's.
Yeah, kind of by El Basha.
Yeah, very close to El Basha. You could do El Basha one day and TO5 Bollywood the other day. I don't know why it's called TO5. TO5.
Yeah, that's interesting, but Sarah has a great following, and rightfully so, and it's fun. She gets really in-depth on these food reviews, and she tells it how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the good and the bad and the ugly.
Have you noticed how many Indian restaurants and Mexican restaurants have popped up in Omaha the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean...
both nationals and locals.
Yeah, and I mean...
On the Mexican side.
On the Mexican side, yeah, but Indian side as well. Like there's even a national chain Indian place in town, and most of your Indian restaurants are local. I don't know, I can't get enough of them, because to me the spicier the food is, the better. And so I do a lot of Indian food just because I love the heat level. But if you want to read that review of TO5 Bollywood Grill or any of Sarah Baker Hansen's other reviews, no problem. Just go to growomaha.com. When you see the navigation bar, click on Eats. That's EATS, Eats. And you can see the most recent reviews and all of them there as well. Well, Trenton, let's go to our news of the week, which is brought to you by whom?
Dingman's Collision Center.
No, Eagle Mortgage. Dingman's Collision Center is the show sponsor, along with D&M Roofing and Siding. Eagle Mortgage
I should have known that one, Holly, sorry.
Eagle Mortgage brings us the news of the week, and they have been bringing good mortgages to their clients for more than 30 years. VA, FHA, conventional mortgages, they do all of that sort of thing. And you know, right now more than ever, it is important to deal with a mortgage broker because they can shop a variety of banks. They're not beholden to one financial institution, so they can find the best deal for you and really the lender that kind of clicks with you and your circumstances. You can find them in person at 114th and Davenport Street or online at Eagle Mortgage Company.
People will have a lot of questions when it comes to mortgages, and even if you're thinking about buying a house, how you're going to qualify, how much house can you buy, go talk to Holly and the people at Eagle Mortgage, and it just makes it a lot easier. They'll put you at ease.
As we always say, for the vast majority of people, a house is the most expensive thing they ever buy in their lives, and so you want to make sure you do it right, and Eagle will help you with that. So Trenton, a couple days ago, I was driving downtown on my weekly Grow Omaha tour, and I was really taken back by how fast they are attacking the Holland Center expansion. It's like a $100 million plus project on the east lawn of the Holland Center. The crews are just tearing up that site. It's kind of got that feeling that the project's going to move pretty quickly down there.
Holland Center is one of the gems that I just love, and I mean, I've seen comedians there, but I love it when there's music there, especially jazz or something that really takes advantage of those acoustics. And so I'm excited to see. I know they're doing programming and different types of things in the expansion, but it'll be well used, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's becoming quite the entertainment hub there because you have the Holland Center, and then Steelhouse Omaha is just catty corner to it. This new thing, which will have a lot of programming and classes and things like that for the arts, is right there. I mean, it's just immediately east of the Holland and immediately south of Steelhouse Omaha. Well, while I was taking that tour downtown, I noticed another construction item that I think is of newsworthy note, and that is the very first vertical component of the future Mutual of Omaha headquarters tower is now in place. Workers have installed some frames for reinforced concrete on the north edge of the Mutual construction site, so along the south side of Douglas Street. So basically, if you think about what the future tower is going to look like, on the two sides, so on the south side and on the north side, is going to be a very tall parking garage, which will be blended into, kind of look like part of the building. Presumably, these concrete structures will be part of the north parking garage. But I think the newsworthy thing is it's already starting to go vertical. That project is going a little faster than I think I would have guessed.
Absolutely, and what I like about it, you probably remember, because you're like me when it comes to construction, the continuous pour of the pilings and the footings for the First National Bank Tower. Do you remember how long that took?
Not only do I remember it, I went down there that night and watched part of it. Of course, I don't have much of a life, and I will watch.
You had less of one back then.
I had even less of one right back then. But yes, I watched part of that continuous pour. They had just the parade of concrete trucks that were lined up to fuel the concrete pumpers. It was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see the same thing again.
Perhaps, yeah. It looks like some things, when I remember, it's been a while, but when I remember watching the construction of the First National Tower, it seems like certain things were just done differently. Yeah, I suppose there are two different construction companies, different eras, different designers, even though the buildings are of similar height. Well, Creighton University is getting ready to open Graves Hall. Graves Hall will be a residence hall for freshmen. It is, right around 24th and Burt Street. It's been under construction for a couple of years, but it opens officially when this coming school year starts, which presumably will be August or early September. The building will house 400 students, and it will be the first new residence hall constructed at Creighton since 2006. A lot of amenities like a courtyard with outdoor fire pits, volleyball courts, fire pits at a collegiate residence hall. What could possibly go wrong? But it's part of a little bit of a building boom on the Creighton campus, because just to the west of it is the Jesuit residence, a building where all the Jesuit priests will live, and they'll also have some other functions in there. And then on the far northwest corner, Trenton, is the new Health Sciences building.
So I chuckled. I think it's all great, and it's a positive chuckle, but when you think about where you stayed in the dorms at Lincoln, and I stayed, or did you ever go to the dorms, or did you go right in the fraternity house?
I went right in the fraternity house, but there were 2 summers where I lived in the dorms.
Okay, so at Sharp Hall down at Tulane University in New Orleans, nice humid summer. It was fine, but it certainly wasn't a new dorm, and these freshmen, talking about being privileged.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, we lived in cramped little quarters, and in fact, for part of my freshman year in college in the fraternity, I had to do an open air dorm where there were about 20 of us in one big room with a whole bunch of bunk beds. And these college kids today don't realize how nicely they have it with their suites and their semi-private bathrooms.
Upgrades for our 2-person dorm rooms were people made bunk beds, and they got like a wood frame, and they'd buy it from somebody else from the year before or whatever, and there'd be companies that come in and install it for you.
Or we would loft all of our beds they would build a frame along the wall, and there'd be a chain. It's amazing none of them ever collapsed. But we would do that. And
So congratulations to the freshmen at Creighton that get brand new dorms.
yeah, I hope those soft pampered Creighton freshmen appreciate what they have compared to what us old timers had back in the day. Well, we have finally a construction progress update, the Flats on Howard. Flats on Howard. It's a 6-story building at 2323 Howard Street. And this building will contain 120 market rate apartments, a $28 million investment. That is going up fairly quickly. First 2 floors made of concrete have been in place, and now they are putting in a couple of wooden floors above that. 2 more to go, but that project's coming along nicely and will be a great infill for that neighborhood that you could say is kind of on the southwest corner of the downtown area.
I'm really excited for another apartment project, the Trio, at 15th and Farn, right across from Pickleman's.
Mm-hmm.
And then the owner of Pickleman's is opening soon, in a couple weeks, is opening Untamed Kitchen, which is a new concept by Alex Harrington, right where that Jazz used to be. So I think they'll have like 16 or 18 apartments upstairs eventually, but they'll have a couple restaurants next to Jimmy John's on the main floor.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing that. And that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. When we come back, we're going to talk about Nebraska as a job market compared to the rest of the United States. And we'll talk about an event called Open Omaha, which may be of interest to many Grow Omaha listeners. You're listening to Grow Omaha on News Radio 1110 KFAB, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service. Here on Grow Omaha, we're brought to you by D&M Roofing and Siding, as well as Dingman's Collision Center. Dingman's has 4 metro area locations, and all 4 of them do a great job of bodywork, fixing your car. If it has been dented, busted, scratched, scraped, whatever the case may be, they will take care of it and make it look as good as new. You know, they're a frequent Best of Omaha winner. They do such a good job, and everyone knows them, everyone loves them. It's family owned, and we can personally recommend them. Trent and I have both brought our vehicles over the years to Dingman's, and have always been so pleased with the results. Dingman's Collision Center sponsoring Grow Omaha. Well, Trenton, you know the Southport area of La Vista quite well and have been involved in selling many of the lots there, so you'll be happy to hear this. We have 2 new hotels that are planned for the area, a Holiday Inn Express and a Residence Inn. These would be built on a 7-acre site very close to the old PayPal buildings, which are now Kiewit buildings. Records show that the site is owned by PayPal. This would have been the piece of land, presumably, that PayPal at one time was going to put a 3rd office building on, or there was talk about, but they never did. These are being developed by a developer out of Lincoln. Looks like the Holiday Inn Express will have 119 rooms. Residence Inn will have 112. But not only has the PayPal campus become a Kiewit office, you've got the new Nebraska Multi-Sports Complex there and other things that are on the docket for Southport and La Vista.
I'm very excited. I was looking at my files, and I think it was 2003 when I started working for different developers at Southport East, okay? And this is about 137 acres that included PayPal, and it was pretty much just PayPal there at the time. And then we developed an area where Pinnacle Bank came in, and then Fantasy's Food and Fuel, now it's a Casey's. And then I sold land under that Securities America property, the second PayPal building, all those pad sites out in front, the strip center that was developed by John Hoych, the McDermott Sod Farm, which was 184 acres, is now mostly the Nebraska Multi-Sports Complex. Putting another piece of land under contract. I still have two lots that were originally where those hotels were going to go. And when the PayPal piece came up, and there are some conflicts in the park as far as hotel use and things like that. But not only are those 2 hotels going there, and there'll be more room for other development there, probably office or retail or something like that. And then the 2 acres I still have available, or the 2 lots I still have available right across from the multi-sports complex, But you're going to have I think Home 2 Suites across Giles, which is right by the Smash Park development over by Cabela's.
And Smash Park has started.
Absolutely, they're well underway. Panda Express will go on that corner. You got that strip center with a Windows Place. You got Starbucks that's freestanding.
I think there's a cookie shop going in that strip center.
Dirty Dough or something like that, I think it is. Another, I think the Jersey Mike's or something is going in there. And then it might be a microtel, but another hotel by the office building that I represent, where I have 6,000 square foot for lease. Thanks for letting me bring that up, Jeff.
No problem. They should contact you.
Yeah, no problem. But there is a lot of activity in that 237 acre development known as the Southport development area.
Yeah, and it's impressive just to see how that's filled up. It'll be interesting to see how much busier it gets, because that Nebraska multi-sports complex with countless artificial turf soccer fields now up and running. Although I think they're still putting the finishing touches on part of it.
They'll have 12, yeah.
It'll be interesting just to see what type of traffic that generates after it's been around a couple of years. I think it'll be pretty impressive.
Well, when they build their field house, those will be a big part of it. And then they're talking about doing indoor and outdoor tennis facility. And then I think later on down the line, the original idea of doing the natatorium with the 5 pools and stuff, it'll be interesting to see how long that takes. But just the synergy of everything that's going up on both sides of Giles, and having a plethora of hotel rooms to complement the conference center that has always done really well. I'm excited for that Southport area.
Well, Nebraska has been determined to have the number 14 best job market in the nation. This is according to a new study from Peak Sales Recruiting. So Nebraska, number 14 best job market. Southern states tend to be in the top 10. And from the study, it says, for the first time in a long time, there is a cautious optimism about the U.S. economy. It's being fueled by a strong labor market. In May, 339,000 jobs were added, nearly double projections. And that cooled in June to 209,000 new jobs, but many experts suggest the economy may be headed to a soft landing instead of a recession. We hope, but we'll see.
Sounds like an election year.
Could be an election year.
Hey, gas prices are going down.
Here are the key findings. Nebraska, 1.9% employment growth from May of 22 to May of 23, a 5.1% increase in job openings, and a 2.3% quits rate. Wages increased 1.2%. So we were 14, but here were the 10 strongest wage growth states, or strongest job market states, if you will. In order: Louisiana, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Idaho, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Delaware. This will come as a shock to you, but the 2 worst states were California and New York. Wages dropped 6.9% in California and dropped 5.1% in New York. Labor productivity in the 2 states fell 3.5% and 2.6%. Underemployment rose in California and New York, 8.7% and 8.5%.
So people that are overqualified are taking jobs that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that you don't talk about there is the rise in cost of living and expenses and regulation in those states.
Yeah, it's crazy how that all happens, and there are a lot of things like when we talk about Omaha and Nebraska. Sometimes people say, "Well, I wish it was a little bigger," or "I wish it was a little more cosmopolitan," or "I wish the winters weren't quite so cold and the summer's so hot and humid." But when you consider things like that, versus the fact that we have so much disposable income and job growth and so much investment happening and quality of life and not a lot of traffic, we're looking pretty desirable right now. I was talking with a family member who is moving from the San Francisco Bay Area to Connecticut, New York City suburbs of Connecticut.
They keep going back and forth.
And one of the reasons why this family member is moving is some other job things, but another reason is housing. The house that they live in the Bay Area that they're currently renting to purchase would be $3.3 million. They're getting a bigger house in the Connecticut suburbs of New York for $1.2 million, so a $2 million discount. And the house that is worth $1.2 million in the New York City suburbs, which is $2 million cheaper than San Francisco, probably would be about $290,000 to $300,000 in Omaha.
Right.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good deal here. Hey, before we wrap up this segment, I do want to bring up another thing, Trenton. Open Omaha, a week-long showcase of the Omaha metro area's most fascinating spaces, will return for a second year. It'll be August 5th and 6th. The event features places that make Omaha interesting. So things like museums, cultural institutions, creative workspaces, religious buildings, performance venues, sporting venues. It's a free event. It's created by Omaha by Design. And altogether this year, it'll have 63 venues. That's quite a bit more than last year. It was inspired by similar events in Denver, Minneapolis, and Chicago. Last year's first Open Omaha drew 6,000 venue visits. They're thinking it'll be a lot bigger this year. So if you're interested in that, just Google Open Omaha and you can find out. But it sounds like a cool thing.
When is it?
August 5th and 6th.
So
August 5th and 6th.
for all the people that are listening, and we take Omaha for granted or think that we don't have a lot of things to do, and I'm not just staring at our camera person, this is something that we should take advantage of. We become ambassadors of our city. We all love our city, and this is a perfect time to go spend a couple days and explore things that you wouldn't normally explore unless someone was in town or whatever. But let's see the different unique environments. It's not just the architecture, but it's the things that people are doing, the spaces that people are creating, activities, and I'm excited about that.
So it sounds like you're taking Amy, the videographer, out to Open
I wasn't going to name any
Omaha.
names, but yeah.
And with that, we're going to take our middle of the show break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a couple other news items and a new addition to the Grow Omaha newsletter that you'll find, we hope, kind of fascinating. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. We'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals sitting next to Trenton Magid. We are with NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate Company and proud to be the hosts of Grow Omaha. We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. They are the top-notch roofing provider and also siding as well in the Omaha metropolitan area under the steady and visionary leadership of Eric Obremt. The team is very experienced. They're very customer service oriented. They're also very much in love with the community. They do so much to give back and to help people. It makes us proud to be affiliated with them here on Grow Omaha. So if you need any preventative maintenance work, repair, doesn't matter whether we're talking residential or commercial building, D&M Roofing and Siding is the choice for you. All right, Trenton, it's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies is the premier real estate development firm based in Omaha. They do projects all over the place, but here in Omaha, they have projects such as the Builders District, Steel Ridge, River's Edge, Village Point West Medical Campus, of course, Exarban Village, in the middle of it all. And today we talk about the Builders District. The Builders District is immediately west of Charles Schwab Field. It is the home of Kiewit's global headquarters, several other things there.
Kiewit University.
Kiewit University, Cambria Hotel is over there. And we have the 4-story mass timber office building that is under construction at 1501 Mike Fahey Street, immediately south of Kiewit's global headquarters. Guess what? Topped out. And what does it mean when we say a building is topped out?
It means that all the structure is completed, such as in this case the wood and some of the steel is completed. A lot of times they'll put a Christmas tree on top of it if there's no injuries on the site, but I don't know if they still do that or not.
I think some do, some don't. I think it's kind of a cool tradition, but
you can see that building from a far distance.
Yeah, and I've noticed it when you drive by on the Interstate 480 viaduct. You can see it quite clearly.
But Noddle is always expanding. That you're going to see that builders district really expand.
Yeah, I was looking at the latest site renderings, and it's going to take a while, for all of that to build out, many years. But some of these other buildings they have planned are pretty cool looking. In fact, just to the northwest of the Kiewit headquarters, it looks like early grading is underway for that urban pocket park, which Noddle Companies is installing to be part of the builders district there in North Downtown.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see another hotel there.
I wouldn't either. And condos, apartments are on the docket, all sorts of things. So that is your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. We appreciate Jay Noddle and his team doing so much to help Omaha's built environment. And if you want to find out more about that company, just go to noddlecompanies.com. Well, I drove by the two riverfront parks this week in my Grow Omaha tour. They're opening Heartland of America Park and Lewis and Clark Landing on August 18th. Getting close. I'll tell you what, the crews are working, the word I'm going to use to describe it, feverishly.
That's the word that I had on the tip of my tongue.
They were working feverishly because I drove by a couple days ago, Trenton. I mean, it is like all-out mobilization to get those parks ready. They're looking cool.
I love the cantilevered lookout point over the Missouri River that it looks like kind of like a, I don't know if you looks like kind of a fish spine or something that goes over that lookout point.
Yeah,
you know
very
what I'm talking
cool.
about?
Yeah, that structure extends out over the railroad tracks right up to the edge of the river. That's on Heartland of America Park where the fountain is. And then just a little bit northeast of Kiewit University is the Urban Beach. And I got a good look at that from the National Park Service parking lot. That Urban Beach is going to be pretty cool. So I imagine people will just hang out there and have a beach thing. You won't go in the water because you can't get down to the water, plus it's the Missouri River. We don't want you to grow an extra toe. But the beach looks really, really cool. I imagine that's going to be a nice attraction.
I think people need to be reminded too that the overwhelming majority of all these improvements, this $350 million, the overwhelming amount is privately funded. This is Heritage Omaha, this is private individuals, different stakeholders, and we are so fortunate. We've said it time and time again, but downtown Omaha looks the way it does is not just the city does a good job of maintaining things, but the stakeholders and the charitable organizations, we need them.
Absolutely. And if that group of civically minded people wants to keep going down there, I think you can add things to those parks. For instance, some people have said, hey, what if the Children's Museum were to move closer to the riverfront?
Oh, awesome.
Maybe, I don't know where you would exactly put them, but there are little spaces here and there. That would be cool. Some cities will have the Ferris wheel downtown. How cool would it be to have a Ferris wheel in one of the parks? My guess is you could probably fit it on Heartland of America Park, a little closer to the water and the fountain, maybe not terribly far from that structure you were talking about, Trenton. I mean, I think, the only limitations are imagination and the generosity of Omaha's philanthropic community, but I think there are even more things you could do down there to make it even more special than it already is.
We never got that, what was it, the tornado tower?
Yeah, the vortex.
The vortex.
Wasn't that like early 90s?
I thought it was a little more recent than that, but it was to look like a big funnel cloud.
Yeah.
And you could climb it and get the view. Because I was thinking about the reason why you want a Ferris wheel is so you can get to the top and see what's going on around.
Yeah, plus it's fun to take the ride.
Yeah.
But was the Vortex Tower, was that planned for out by Mahoney State Park, or was that going to be in downtown Omaha?
I thought it was downtown.
Okay. I think there was, maybe when I was in college or sometime else in the 90s, I think there was talk about a big tower like
Let's
that.
celebrate disasters.
Yeah, one of the things we don't want to draw attention to the fact that we get tornadoes in this part of the country. Although I will say, actually, had that happened, I think it probably would have been a cool structure. I would have gone up it. I don't know, but the problem with something like that, do you go up more than? I suppose anytime you have out of town guests, you're like, hey, let's go to the top of the tornado tower. They should spin it around really fast and make you motion sickness so you know what it's like to be inside a tornado. but that project never happened. Hey, really fast, Gretna East High School getting ready to go. They are going to be open for school on August 10th. This is a $120 million. Remember when $120 million would buy you an entire real estate development?
Yeah.
Now it's just one high school.
Gretna's on fire.
Oh, Gretna looks great, is doing great. This high school will start with 750 students. By the way, 1,200 students will remain at the existing Gretna High School, but Gretna East will have 750 students. It's at 180th and Lincoln Road. And for those of you who have not seen it, if you're out in far west Omaha, Douglas County, Gretna area, just drive over there and take a look. It really, really is a nice school. And then just to the north of it, Trenton, Sarpy County has been doing all sorts of road improvements, which is creating a housing boom in that area between Harrison and this new Gretna East High School.
You got to fill that. You got to get the shoppers for the world's largest Hy-Vee for 135,000 feet,
which is also very close there, right there at 192nd and Highway 370. All right, we're going to take our final break of the hour. And when we come back, it's going to be your Turner Construction Lightning Round. I'm looking at the list. A lot of things on there, maybe not quite as many as there were at the beginning of the show, but there are a lot of things on there, and you don't want to miss any of that. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round. That's when we talk about several things in a very short period of time. Thank you, Turner Construction, for making this possible. By the way, if you are looking for a contractor for your next building project, Turner Construction is an outstanding choice. Big, established, company with so much talent and so many resources that they bring to your project, and along with that, tremendous sense of customer service, tremendous sense of community well-being. In fact, just this week we're talking to Turner about a golf tournament they're doing to provide funds for charity, and that's just the type of company that Turner is. They're always looking out for the community. How do we make the place where we do business better for the people that live there? And Turner is so committed to that. And at the same time, and probably the thing you care about the most if you're looking at building something, they do outstanding building projects at a fair price in a short period of time. So we're proud to have Turner Construction to be your official host of the Grow Omaha Lightning Round. Well, first up, Trenton Jimmy John's plans another metro area location. This one should open in late September or early October. The exact address is 4002 North 203rd Street.
North of Maple.
Yeah, just a little bit north of Maple. If you can picture that area, there is a Runza restaurant. This is a little bit north of that. It's Indian Creek area, new retail strip under construction there. And then downtown, you were involved in this one. We have a new restaurant called Heart of Asia Cuisines.
Yeah, this is exciting. This is where Saigon Surface was. It's actually an office condo that Spencer Morrissey and I sold to an out-of-town investor, and actually he called us because he listens to the show, and he serves in the military, and he served here, and loved the show. Really nice guy named Tom. And the tenant is ecstatic, and they're open for business. So give Heart of Asia a try.
Exact address is 324 South 14th Street. Like Trenton said, the former Saigon Surface space. When I was doing my Grow Omaha tour this week, I popped my head in there. Looks really nice. There is outdoor seating, and it smelled really good. So I need to go back sometime when I'm in the market to order lunch. Heart of Asia Cuisines. Right here in the Dundee area, where KFAB is located, Avoli Osteria recently held its 10-year anniversary. They're located at 5013 Underwood Ave in downtown
Love that
Dundee.
place.
It's amazing how fast 10 years goes by.
Yeah.
You know how I know how fast 10 years goes by when I have to renew a passport. I just sent mine in.
I'm almost ready for that.
This past Monday, because it's less than 6 months left on it. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I looked at the picture, I'm like, I still remember that shirt that I wore in the picture. It seems
Still wearing
like
it.
No, I looked just to be safe. I did check the closet, and the shirt is gone. Yeah, it's amazing how fast 10 years goes by. Amazing Lash Studio. Lash as in eyelashes. Amazing Lash Studio opened yesterday, July 21st, in the Shops at Exarban. The exact address is 1110 South 71st Street, so southeast corner of 72nd and Pacific, which would be the northwest corner of the Exarban area. But this is the nation's largest lash and brow services business, and the very first one in Omaha. There are some nearby, like Lincoln has one, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Des Moines, Iowa, so Omaha's a little bit late to the game on this, but lo and behold, it's here now. Amazing Lash Studio has 275 locations in 30 states, and as the name would indicate, they do lash extensions, lash lifts.
I'm gonna get the Snuffleupagus.
You're gonna go get what? So your lashes look like Snuffleupagus?
Yeah.
Your eyebrows, do you want them to look like Snuffleupagus?
No, I'm good with those.
They also have brow lamination, waxing, and tinting. You like waxing? That'd be good for you.
Yeah, I'd have to call in advance. They'd probably have to do a consortium of wax places.
To get enough materials?
Yeah.
Okay, so Amazing Lash Studio, new business in the Shops at Exarban. All right, did you know, Trenton, that we have a new section of our Grow Omaha newsletter?
Yep, I did know that, and I'm excited about our sponsor too.
Yeah, our sponsor is Lockbox Storage. Tell us about Lockbox Storage.
Lockbox Storage is I think there's about 18 of them.
A lot of them.
Around, not just here, Sioux Falls. I've actually done business with them, and McGregor Interest, run by our friend Jeff McGregor, who's done a lot of real estate development. He's a broker like we are as well. And Lockbox, he's been really aggressive throughout the community in doing these.
Well, this new section that Lockbox Storage is sponsoring is called Did You Know? And each week it'll have 3 statements to start with, Did you know? And we're not going to normally read these on every Grow Omaha show, but just to get you started, here are the first ones. Did you know that the average Omaha worker produces $2,000 more goods and services each year than the U.S. average? No, I did not know that until I did the research.
I thought it was like $2,014, and so
Trenton, you'll like this one.
I went over.
You'll like this one, Trenton. Did you know that the Reuben sandwich was invented in Omaha? Reuben Kolakowski, a Lithuanian-born Jewish grocer, asked for a sandwich made of corned beef and sauerkraut at his weekly poker game held in the Blackstone Hotel from around 1920 to 1935. The chef added Swiss cheese and Thousand Island dressing, served it on rye bread, and you care about this because?
Because the poker game called The Committee, which is the name of the restaurant at the Clinton Cottonwood Chop House, was hosted by my great-grandfather, Charles Schibel,
owner of the hotel. And finally, did you know Omaha gets less snow on average than New York City? Omaha gets 25.6 inches per year, according to currentresults.com, while New York gets 29.8. And with that, we are out of time, and that is your lightning round brought to you by Turner Construction. We have to say goodbye for a little while. Hope everyone has a great week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, B&M Roofing and Siding, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you again next week, right here, same time, same place, on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.